Welcome to a galaxy far, far away. Here at the Cantina podcast, we provide top shelf service, including rumors, leaks, news, and reviews. Come in, order a Lomanale, and remember, no droids allowed. Oh man, hello everyone. Welcome to the Cantina. Here on the GenreVerse podcast, GenreVerse podcast network and GenreVerse YouTube channel. Powered by LRM online. Make sure you go there every day for all your entertainment news, needs, and opinions. And of course, sponsored by the great folks over at Grow Generation. A little bit more from them later in the episode. I'm Kyle Malone, joined as usual by Cam Clark and Shockey. What's up, guys? Don't you both answer at once? I mean, you're both supposed to just answer at once.
Let Mike go first there, but yeah, nothing much is up. All is good from Square Campbell.
Yeah, there you go.
What about you, Mike?
We got 4 episodes down of Kenobi, 2 to go, and then see what the summer brings us.
Yeah, your summer is just about ready to begin, huh?
Yep. So we got one more day with the students, and then and then summer starts.
Yeah, my son's got through next week, and that's it. So like next Wednesday or something. Anyways, you guys don't care about our offspring school schedules or Mike's school schedules. You wanna know what our opinions are on this episode of Obi-Wan Kenobi, and we'll start off with spoiler-free kind of initial reactions and grades, and we'll just kind of go around the way on it and start with the Shockey. Why not?
Okay. So I did not get a chance to read Cam's review or anything like that, but so I have no clue how you guys are going to react to this, but I absolutely love this episode. It was one of my favorite moments in Star Wars in time. I wouldn't rank it like as the best, thing of Star Wars I've witnessed or watched. But the kind of the Easter eggs or like parallels that this episode had to A New Hope, and some of the things that you saw there, the kind of the chase, or I don't know, the rescue mission to get Leia and all that, got straight to the point. We didn't spend a whole lot of time rushing, or a whole lot of time with the rebel base and chit-chatting about it. It was straight into it. We're going, and then anytime you can include the T-47 speeders on there, I'm always a big fan of that, because I think that was one of the most underused things in Star Wars. It's one of my favorite parts of the original trilogy. So I know you guys are gonna bash me for that and everything, but
the speeder existing is not an issue. It's what they did with it. But keep going, Shockey.
It does kind of break away from the traditional idea of what the T-47 land speeder was created for, or like the capabilities of it. But hey, maybe these, what did they say they were originally, or they were being used for, is for dumping trash or whatever. I think is what they said.
I guess rewriting canon.
Hey man, it's like a little Fast and the Furious,
I don't think there was anything. I mean, what was wrong? I don't know. You said rewriting canon. What was canon?
Well, if he's talking about them being used for like hauling stuff instead of them being
right.
I mean, I guess you could say, when they say they're having trouble adapting it for the snow, it wasn't originally a military piece of equipment, and that's why. Well, it's already got weapons on it, and of course, EU books on it say that it was a weapon. But anyways, it's neither here or there. That's a small thing. That wasn't the dumb thing that happened with it, though.
No. On you go, Mike.
The short time we got to see Vader, I thought was pretty cool. A little bit more, you see more of his temper or animosity there. Just overall, I enjoyed the episode.
Okay, what would you grade this episode?
Right off the bat, man. A.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cam, your little spoiler-free take and grade.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of had almost the opposite view of Shockey here, in terms of the fact that it does just get into things so quickly just didn't feel like a proper drama show to me. It felt almost like an episode of an animated show where you don't want to spend too much time in characters because kids just want to get to the action a little bit quicker. And that's what this episode felt like to me, to the point where there's certain characters that appear in this show, which I'll go into more in the spoiler section, that we just don't learn anything about at all because there's just no time spent. It's just like, you know, the episode starts, Obi-Wan makes a plan, and then they go and enact it. Some of the action scenes I enjoyed. The one scene with Vader in it I thought was the best scene in the show. Episode this week, I should say. I had some technical issues with the speeders at the end. I think similar to what you did. I saw you make some comments earlier on. We'll get to that again in the spoiler section, but I just didn't like the kind of finale of it all too much. Yeah. Overall, I thought the episode was a bit clunky and just didn't have really much character development. There was no real character moments in it other than kind of Vader and Reva at one point. And you know, I kind of, as much as it wasn't bad, it wasn't horrific anyway, it didn't really do much to annoy fans. It just wasn't that good for me. It just felt like it should have been another 10 minutes longer, and we should have got more time spent with before we kind of moved on to things, you know, which was where I come into the opposite of Mike, because he had said he really loved the fact that it just went straight into things.
Yeah, because wasn't it one of the shortest? It was the shortest episode of the series so far.
So. It's like I think so far.
Yeah. It's like 38 minutes, but it's definitely less than that because of credit scenes and stuff.
And considering it's like, if you imagine there's like, you know, if it was a movie, right? I know it's not. And there was 3 acts. It's all act 3. This episode, you know, and while that can work absolutely in a TV series because you've built up the stuff before that, you can do that. But in the context of the way they structured this episode, it felt like they did put it into 3 acts almost, but they just never spent enough time on act 1 or act 2 in order to make me buy where we were going in act 3, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I get it. So
overall, I gave it a B minus. Okay.
B minus. You see, I'm conflicted because there was no real canon shattering moments, especially for characters. There were no character moments really. I found it rather enjoyable, minus one spin move and some obvious editing issues again, which I think if anything, this show is showing us the limitations of the volume. I've noticed how claustrophobic they feel moving, how short distances can feel when they're in the volume, you know, even though there's physical things in there with them as well. You could just, I can almost feel the claustrophobia with the actors.
What scenes would you say, like, are you saying that? Because there's quite, not a whole, like the entire show, but there's quite a bit that was shot like on like actual sets.
Okay, well then their sets feel incredibly claustrophobic. Okay. The Inquisitor's castle in the water room, and the Inquisitor's like the pathway where what's her name, Tala is, or Tara, whatever's walking through. Her pacing and the way the camera looks, and it may have just been a blue screen behind there and not the volume. Regardless, it goes to the whole thing where almost every episode we've nitpicked at something in editing, you know, something physical, something technical, and that is getting annoying when it's every episode you're finding something that stands out. However, like I said, I kind of liked it more, so I'm back to where I was in the first couple of episodes, where it's like I gotta rate it as the show that was delivered, regardless of my personal feelings, because my personal feelings on the show are not that high, and because of some of those issues, things that Tala did, like when she kills the guy, not big spoilers. She kills someone. Oh, yeah. She kills a guy, and there's obvious people that could hear, and it's almost like there was a blocking issue, or they forgot someone was in this scene or something, you know, things like that. All of that combined, I kind of just, it's a B- for me today. I was kind of disappointed a lot, and then a big issue dealing with technical stuff, potentially just stupidity that we'll talk about later. So yeah. Anyways, guys, we'll go ahead and get into some spoilers. So this is your warning, and we'll, you know what, we've been staying positive and positive. So let's break it and let's dig into it. Cam, tell us about the idiotic speeder shooting point blank, and go wherever you want.
Star Wars universe, you've kind of established that the bigger the laser is, the bigger the laser is, and the more power it has.
Splash damage.
From a blaster to the Death Star, right? Based on the physics of this episode, if the Death Star fired its beam on Jedha in Rogue One and Obi-Wan had been standing there with his lightsaber, he would have just been able to deflect it back.
Deflect it all.
Because it doesn't seem to have any inherent, what's the word I'm looking for? Kinetic energy to it, you know?
Right.
Because those speeders, you know, were shooting AT-ATs in Empire Strikes Back.
And AT-STs and troops,
at some point
troops on the ground.
They had those settings were turned up by the time of Empire Strikes Back. That's what they'll say in some technical manual in a year's time after people start moaning about it. But the point is, they didn't really it didn't have to be like that. To me, it showed a kind of lack of imagination. Reva, I don't really so much of an issue with Reva deflecting the bolts. I just want it to look more difficult than deflecting the bolts from a regular blaster, and to have some proper, you know, actual kinetic energy to feel like, you know, this could blow a hole in the ground if she missed one, and she potentially should get blown away, and it doesn't feel like that. If they couldn't do that, have something force related that she does to help her, which you don't really see happening. And again, the people that just ignore any fault will just you know, come up with some headcanon for this at some point, or it'll come up with some technical manual and they'll explain this away. But it just annoyed me, and it kind of, I wouldn't say it ruined the episode, but it ruined that moment of the speeders coming in for me. And actually, using those speeders felt like you know, when Star Wars does this, sometimes it gives you too many Easter eggs at times, and it says, you know,
pulling a Ghostbusters afterlife. Yeah. Remember this, and you know, and Shockey, you're just falling for it hook, line, and sinker. Yeah, I love those speeders in 1983 when I was a kid, and they're back on screen again. Yeehaw! Ow.
You know, and I just feel like I don't fall for, you know, I'll occasionally fall for that when it's done with some subtlety. What I praised about the previous 3 episodes was they were subtle, and that to me wasn't a subtle Easter egg. It was an in your face, hey, remember Empire Strikes Back? You always like that. Here's those speeders back again. You know, this is 10 years before A New Hope. So let's say 12, 13 years before sort of Empire Strikes Back, when the rebels kind of get them. Right. Now, I know they use old rundown stuff because they can't afford new stuff. Right. Like the Empire, they're a rebel alliance. But even if they had modified them so, like, they had for example, take the blasters off the side and give them a little mini cannon at the front that they go with. And then that A, solves the problem we had earlier on, and B, you don't need to have it, because it felt like the whole Empire was almost out there surrounding them, and then, you know, they're all just like, and Obi-Wan runs away, you know. It didn't work for me, whereas the rest of the action up to that point, I kind of digged, and I was liking what was happening between Obi-Wan and the corridors and all that sort of stuff. The finale didn't trigger for me. So that's my criticisms about that final scene.
Shockey, defend thy speeder. I'll just say this one thing to that though, like Cam said, if they had shrunk down the weapons to something different, the fact that it was this big giant laser cannon and it's shooting the strength of a blaster and at point blank range, and you just watched them hit the deck and cause damage, and here she is, there's no splash, not using the force to deflect, then they'll go in and change it with CGI. But did that bug you at all, dude? So
when I was watching it almost like for a second there, I thought she was controlling the land speeder with the force, kind of like Starkiller and was it Force Unleashed pulls down the Star Destroyer and stuff like that. I thought like she was using the force, and when he what was the guy's name, the pilot's name? I forgot.
No one cares.
Wade.
That's another point we'll get to. But no one
Wade,
knows him or who he is or what he does.
Yeah. So when Wade does that like kind of 180 turn and is right in front of Reva and stuff, I thought that was her kind of control. Like I was expecting that type of thing, like I got you, type deal, and crashing it. But yeah, when turning on the lasers and that was actually planned, I would have done it differently, personally. I appreciate, here's how I appreciate it, is that we're not getting these random new ships putting in, because kind of like what you mentioned, Cam, is that to keep it canon and stuff like that, the Rebellion did not have a lot of funds in the beginning, and they basically were working off of scraps. And so it kind of explains why in the first Battle of the Death Star, there's only X-Wings that go in. But then once they defeat the Empire at the Death Star Battle of Yavin, then they get more funds. More funds leads to more weaponry. So then you get the A-Wings, the B-Wings and stuff.
The B-Wings,
and Y-Wings and everything. So, it does kind of, help it in that point. And Kenobi, when he's on Jabin, they explain all we have are those T-47s, and and he say we just use them to dump garbage and stuff. So that they're not really, they weren't created. If you go to, I don't know if it's EU now or if it's canon, like those land speeders weren't military. Weren't created originally.
Even then, they still have the same laser cannons are on there.
I guess every speeder has a cannon on them. I guess I don't know, except for
this one's not as strong as another as strong as it looks.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean,
maybe that's why they were having trouble breaking the armor on the AT-ATs. That's the way they'll sell this. Actually, if you notice, they couldn't even get through that armor. It's not that strong,
right?
But so, of course, the impression you had
on a show, bud. Go talk to your mom.
So it's I mean,
Lucas,
I get
I'm on
it.
a show. Go ask mommy.
I get it. It's one of those things that like it can take you out, and it's something I probably would have changed if I was in charge of the show and stuff. But not everything's gonna be 100% perfect on it and stuff. So yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. The canon Wikipedia doesn't really have a lot on whether or not it was
the old EU books that they
whether or not it was military to start with, but
I'll have to look. I think I still have them.
It's not the point anyway.
It was.
As I said,
I was going to say the EU. It was cargo
showed up. It's not that they showed up. It's just they had what I would perceive to be. It looked to me like the weapon strapped on military hardware onto those kind of speeders, do you know what I mean? To make them into military vehicles. And I would expected, if an Empire Strikes Back, if one of them had come in and started shooting Vader, I would expected more than just.
Oh yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That's
all
that I think we're saying.
Yeah, I agree. So, for me, I mentioned Tala, her mission, to be the distraction, and she's not being the distraction yet. She's there to help guide Kenobi to where Leia is. There's a dude right next to her that sees her get hauled off. Even there's two officers in front of her that I don't know if I even saw in the first shot, but you see them definitely after she offs the guy that wants to investigate her, and she does it literally within feet of these other two officers in front of the desk or the console she was at. The blocking, like, I don't know if they shot stuff, said, yep, we've got it, and then went in and realized, oh shit, we don't just throw it in there. I had a lot of issues with that, and that again was
short,
that again was like the claustrophobia, and I was like, well, there's no need for this to be in the volume, but I figured because of so many other areas where that spatial awareness issue.
To fix that, Kyle,
it's either that or they're just bad.
All you had to have was some kind of office, a different, office that is, he's the supervisor and he comes out of the office, takes her into the office. No one else can see inside the office. She comes back on her own. That would have worked so much better.
There's all these different ways, and it's so annoying. Like I said, it keeps adding up, and I know so many that can just shut it off. Janet over on Breaking Geek Radio. Right. Janet over on Breaking Geek Radio said, you're watching movies or you're watching shows wrong when things like that bug you. But it's like I said, once every now and then, sure. But when it keeps piling on, it's getting frustrating. Yep. And then to hear Shockey say, it's not all in the volume, that there were more sets than I might have thought. That makes it even worse, because then it's like,
well, I don't know. It depends on what you're talking about. Because I want to say is that it wasn't like 50-50 volume, 50 set, but like some of the like from episode 1, the Tatooine scenes, those were shot out in an open set. Because remember, like there was all those like the beach in California that people were standing around taking pictures of, and then the set that they built
I didn't really feel too much places where I've felt very claustrophobic is the quarry, the castle, the Inquisitor's castle, especially the hallway with the water, and like I said, where Tala offs that dude, and then the entrance ramp. It almost looks like, and like I said, it could be because she was walking towards a blue screen in the back or whatever, but it almost looks like she starts slowing down more the closer she gets to the big open door. And it's like, even those are like things that if I caught it, just being a fan watching, you would think someone in the editing room, someone watching the dailies, the replay, even the director saying, hey, you're getting to the screen too quickly, so slow your whole movement back from the beginning. And I don't want to nitpick, but like I said, it's getting to that point where it's like every freaking thing they do has got something, and it's frustrating.
We're critics, right? We're critics. We're going to critique whatever we find to critique.
Yeah.
I mean, when people talk about what a masterpiece this Oscar-winning movie is, it doesn't have mistakes in it like we're talking about here. And you know, you can't just say, well, you turn all that off because you're watching a popcorn, or because you're watching, shut up, stop criticizing these things, just let them put the flashy stuff on screen, shut your brain off and enjoy it. Well, I can't do that. I like more than that. If that's what I wanted, I'd watch the Fast and Furious films. I don't, because they're absolute tripe. I want something that engages me, in different ways. You want, first and foremost, it's a good story. But second of all, it's nice when they line these things up and they have nice shots that we can talk about, and we talk about how great the cinematography is, or how great the directing work is. And, it's fair to also, criticize the other side as well.
Yeah, I agree. I don't feel bad for criticizing it. Piece of shit. No, I'm joking. Did you guys have any other really big complaints?
Oh, well, the complaint I had was about where I think we're supposed to care that Wade get killed, right?
Oh yeah, man, they hammed up that acting, and I'm like,
who can tell me what was the relationship between Wade and the other girl who I don't know the name of? Were they girlfriend and boyfriend? Were they brother and sister? Were they just pals?
Are we missing something, Shockey?
Yeah. So from what I know from this is probably in editing, is that Kenobi's time on Jabim was a lot more, like in the stories, and so you were supposed to know Wade and
but also it's emotionally
more editing
Obi-Wan, right? So Obi-Wan comes
and
out
O'Shea Jackson Jr. Yeah, O'Shea Jackson Jr.'s character has more dialogue. Like you get to know them a little bit more, and they cut through that super fast.
I think we're going back there next week.
Yes, yeah, but like that intro scene was, you had a lot more. So like you knew those characters.
See, that's my issue with it. I don't see the point of just introducing nameless people and killing them off, because what you do is you lose all emotional impact. Now, if you make them nice people and Obi-Wan kind of gets to know them, he listens to what they're saying, what they're about, what their life is like, but they agree to end up, maybe they pull an emotional heartstring, like, we just want to stay alive. We can't go risking our lives for all this sort of stuff.
Yeah,
and
the only thing
I understand. And then later when they turn up, you get that emotional beat and you feel sad for Obi-Wan because this guy's been killed, and it's a self-fulfilling prophecy almost, where, turn up and be the good guy, but you're going to have losses as well. And that's kind of where I would have went thematically with that, but without the stuff at the start, the end doesn't work.
Right.
So
it's just some
cutting it out was a bad choice.
Killed.
Well, so here's the thing, though. Here's the thing, and this is just pure speculation, but I do believe that some of these characters we're seeing Kenobi will show up in Andor and give a little bit more backstory to them. And so it could be that Wade, is a character that we see more of in Andor.
Yeah, but it only work. It still doesn't work. It's still
because he already did.
Listen, we already know the end result of Kenobi. It's not like when we know that he's not going to die, Vader's not going to die, and stuff like that.
We don't know the end result of the secondary characters. We don't know what happens to Tala. The only ones that we can say for certain what happens to are the Inquisitors that we know carry on, Vader, Obi-Wan, and Leia. Anybody else is.
Well, Reva, we have no clue.
Yeah, Reva, we don't have no clue. We don't have any clue about Tala or any of the other people that are kind of working with.
Just remember the canon is whatever it needs to be. So if somebody had to live and miraculously survive, they'll
I'm just saying you don't put something that build a backstory of somebody in Andor that you've already killed in Obi-Wan, because you lose the emotional impact of that at the time. It's the same. The episode didn't work for me fundamentally because they didn't do what they were supposed to do at the start.
So, I'll give you a little bit more insight to that, with when it comes to like cutting stuff out. The information I got about Agent Kallus was supposed to be that the security guard that Tala interacts with what do you call it? Their identification and stuff like that.
Right.
That's supposed to be interaction with Kallus, from what I was, told, but either it was bad, faulty information, or they changed that for some odd reason. So there's a reason into the madness on it and stuff. So I think, it doesn't work.
I know we reported the Kallus. I never liked the idea of Kallus showing up in Obi-Wan Kenobi anyway, because it felt like, an unnecessary Easter egg, why do we need that character to show up? We don't need any connections to an Obi-Wan. You don't need extra Easter eggs, is what I'm saying, in an Obi-Wan Kenobi show. You've got the biggest Easter egg of all. You've got fucking Obi-Wan Kenobi and Darth Vader in it.
Right, but it's a payoff for those people that watch Rebels and stuff like that. Yeah. And so
they can wait their turn.
But that's what the MCU is becoming as well. It's all about, look at that character we see in the background. He was mentioned in page 554 of a technical manual once. The 5 fans that love that guy for the technical manual, and they have their own little subreddit, they go, yay, and then the character becomes a bit more popular, and then if he's popular enough, they get their own show. Right. I just feel like it's all about teasing Easter eggs now instead of focusing on what the story is. And if some of those Easter eggs are brought in at the expense of constructing a story well, then you're not doing your job right as either directors, writers, or producers, for me.
Oh well.
Sorry,
I guess I
I'm
agreed with you. I guess I
getting a
agreed
bit-
with you because it wasn't. Yeah.
I'm getting a bit ranty tonight.
I
don't know why.
gotta say some things about the writer later though, but we're gonna take a word from our sponsors, come back and talk about some positives, if we've got any. So
Yeah,
We got plenty. I got plenty of positives.
plenty.
Take it away. Grow Generation, where the pros go to grow. Grow Generation offers the best deals and discounts on the best grow products on the market. Grow Generation serves customers across the nation and carries a wide inventory of renowned cultivation brands. Go to www.growgeneration.com, where the pros go to grow. Yeah, in that big interview, things that
Are you sure he wasn't just saying, does he know that Vader's still alive?
Yeah,
episode 3, because I've read that, and that's
I'll read
phenomenal.
it. I'll read it and double check. But even then, there's other things to complain about, Mr. Kenobi writer. But we're not complaining about our sponsors, Grow Generation, who sponsored us. Link below. So the good stuff, Shockey, we've been crapping on it a bit. So why don't you go ahead and polish up this turd?
It's not a turd, man. It's a good episode.
We gave a B+.
It was
not a bad
B
score.
minus.
A B minus. That's what we gave it. That
I'll take a B
minus.
minus.
That's a pass mark. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, I just thought there was. I mean, I don't know if you guys got this or not, but like I saw a lot of parallels to the rescue mission to get Leia on Death Star.
Stuff, yeah.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and so
felt very much like that tight corridor, stormtroopers. Yeah.
Going after Leia, finding it's
Obi-Wan
like
sneaking about the place. I get that.
Using the Force to distract the stormtroopers.
The callback to the episode 1 breather thing.
Yes,
underwater.
Swimming underwater. And using the breather apparatus there and stuff. So to me, I was like, oh, this is kind of cool that you're. It's the same mission, going to go get Leia, doing the same kind of concept there. I almost wish that there would have been like Tala like having to take down the tractor beam or something like that. It would have been kind of a little cherry on top, and stuff. But no, it's like that's what I enjoy. It kind of brought me back to like those moments when I was a kid watching A New Hope for the first time. Like, oh, that I remember that.
That's what it's designed to do, though, Mike. It's designed to make you remember and go.
Well, hey,
and
they did a great job. Yeah, I enjoyed my childhood, so hey. Anytime you can take me back to those moments right there, where I had hair and stuff. I mean, hey, I'm down for it. No, and then I thought the scene when Kenobi finally finds Leia and turns off the lights and takes down the stormtroopers that way, it was pretty cool. And stuff. The what is it? The hallway scene with the water and stuff. That to me, it was almost like a nod to Jedi Fallen Order. With spoilers, if you haven't played the game or whatever.
I haven't played it.
How Kestis is, in the final, searching for, fighting Vader and stuff like that, and escaping through,
because it's in that place, isn't it? It's in the same place.
Same place, and it finally collapses, and the water, capsizes and stuff and everything. So, but yeah, it was that to me, like that episode. And so while it was a very short episode, it's the shortest one of the 4 so far, I'm glad that they saved the time for that instead of doing a lot of the talking and, hey, we need to get to this mission, we need to save. It went straight right into the rescue mission. It wasn't a hangover. We know, they successfully got Leia. Now they're on to the final act and stuff, and Vader, going after Kenobi. So, but yeah, the Imperial probe droids, or the seeker droids, they call them in this episode. The Death Troopers, what I thought was hilarious. I mean, it's probably a knock, more of a negative, but the fact that Kenobi and Tala and Leia are literally walking through the entire floor, and all Kenobi has is a trench coat over it, and no one. I was dying. I was like,
that was dumb.
Oh, that was
Like,
good. That was
it wasn't a good choice or whatever, but at the same time too, I laugh at it. He's like, yeah, this is taking a big leap right here that no one would notice a guy with a massive bulge, off to the side. I was hoping that they were,
and especially straggly big beard and everything like that. Nobody in the Empire has. They're all like pristine and clean shaven.
Right. And I was hoping what they were going to try to do is, since they were doing all these kind of nods back to A New Hope, was get Kenobi in a stormtrooper outfit, have him walk around, and then have like,
there you go, boom.
I think it was
what would they have done with Leia though?
But they put her in an R2 droid and stuff, or a droid, and and roll her out. I think it was either Rebels or Clone Wars. They did that where somebody inside a droid, and that's
a much better idea.
I was like, man, I wish they had just had somebody,
See, if they had us on staff,
right
in this, all these little things, we'd have just been like, bum, 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 bum.
Put Kenobi in the stormtrooper outfit. Put Leia in a droid. You could create an any two little box droid or whatever, and have or pushing in a cargo. Have her, Kenobi pushing, a cargo.
There just needs to be a droid there that helps in the torture chamber. That's about the right shape, and it's like, and just Obi-Wan chops it in half, and or something like that, and away you go.
And then, and Reva could have still confronted them and stuff. And you see Kenobi take off the helmet, and it's kind of like Luke and Han take off their helmet style, and they fight with stormtrooper outfits on. That's where I feel like they were so close. They were like, that's
what's maddening me, because that's what I said in my review, is that on paper, the idea behind this show, the plot that we go through, I like. I just didn't like what the finished article that we ended up with.
I loved all the nods to A New Hope and the rescue mission of Leia on the Death Star, except that right there at the end, I found it comical. Like, they're really putting a trench coat over this guy. That's like, to me, in the writer's room, like, if and we're discussing this, like, how are they going to get out of there? I got it. We're going to give him a trench coat, and we're going to put Leia underneath. They're going to walk through an entire floor of stormtroopers and Imperial officers. No one's going to see him, and they're not going to have a spaceship to leave, even though Tyler came in a spaceship. They need to
examine that writer's room for cocaine traces.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Sometimes they just need to make a shout out and be like, hey, Star Wars fans, I'm the writer for so and so, such and such so. I got a scenario here. How would you get out of, and just let the all the ideas fly through. And I guarantee you there would have been 100 better ideas.
Flow through you.
I mean, come on, we got social media now. If I ever,
it would end up being a movie made by committee. It would become,
multiverse of madness.
That would be where it goes, because it would start off a nice idea, like you say, and then in 20 years' time, we're going to be sitting there and we'll have to vote to see the movie's going to go. And then when they film it, we just watch it. And it's
but listen, if any criticism comes out, I'll be like, hey, y'all are the ones who gave us
that. When 51% the people win, and then they go, oh, it was Russian trolls that made that happen.
Hey,
none of the real fans wanted that to happen.
I don't know, but yeah, I think, gosh, if they just... thought about that a little bit more, and went as much as they were taking from A New Hope and the whole rescue mission. If they had just thought about it a little bit further and said, let's put Kenobi in a stormtrooper outfit.
I half expected them to put Leia in handcuffs and say we're taking her to X planet, or taking her to
prisoner transfer from cell block 1.
That would have been more believable than the trench coat.
The other thing that was kind of like shocking was like now we know what happened to all the fallen Jedi, I guess, with the tombs that they created, and
is that like amber they've encased them in or something like that?
I guess they're gonna do like a Jurassic Park,
doesn't it?
I know.
like I guess so.
I thought they were frozen first, and then it's like no, they're dead, frozen.
There was one of them that looked a bit worse for wears. Yeah.
It's
frozen in their death.
I read on it's earlier this morning on Reddit or something. Someone theorized that like basically that was kind of the beginning for the cloning, or like the new stages of cloning that Palpatine was trying to do is to get try to get the midichlorians from each Jedi that they capture. And so I don't know if it's going that deep or whatever, or it's just more like a trophy room for the Inquisitors. Like, see all the
it felt like
Jedi.
that. Like, look at what we've done. That's what it kind of looked like to me.
Yeah,
we told this little kid we're so great.
Yeah, the kid one. I was like, damn, they went that deep.
I mean, we know that they're. I mean, what's
look how they opened the show up.
Yeah,
right. But so it's one of the Padawans from the Jedi Temple because he's wearing that whatever helmet that is,
training helmet.
Yeah,
So that must have been like Anakin that did that, So
I think so.
Maybe it was him that started putting them up.
That's another two thing. So like you see Kenobi who's walking through, and it's kind of like PTSD, seeing all his friends there. But like it would have been another thing to see like him see the Padawan and then get the flashback to Order 66 when Yoda and him are walking around, seeing all the dead Jedi there and stuff. Just a little bit, quick, flashback on that, but I don't know.
Talking about flashbacks, we've not really seen anything like with the rumored sort of flashbacks with Anakin and Obi-Wan is when they were younger.
If he's going back to that planet, wasn't there a big battle on that planet during the Clone Wars?
Yep.
So if there were going to be flashbacks, I would assume it would be there. Now that we think they're going back that way.
It's just apart from one shot and some makeup shots, I've not seen any need to have Hayden Christensen involved yet.
Yeah,
right. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I agree. But so that makes sense for next one.
On the positives, I'll just throw in a couple. I thought the Vader Reva scene was really good. I loved how just Vader was ready to basically just kill her right there and then, but he kind of appreciated what she did and went, okay, you're going to live for now. Yeah, you get one for me on that. That's the kind of shit I would do because, of course, that's something he does do in A New Hope himself.
Yeah, I was going to say, how do you feel that he was inspired by Reva to do that?
I know, right?
No, I mean, I think it's more Vader knows all the old.
Check with the internet.
I think he's just impressed that it's because it's something that he would do.
Oh yeah, I agree.
I think Anakin's probably done shit like that during the Clone Wars that I can't remember.
No, it's a common thing. Yeah. It's a common thing to do. But check with the internet, and you'd be surprised how little people know about Star Wars or just logic when it comes to Star Wars.
There's levels.
Ridiculous.
There's levels.
And actually, I loved the whole water holding back scene. I thought that was quite a good moment. The way Aiden kind of directs it towards them and then runs for the door. I thought that was quite cool, And I liked the fact that when Obi-Wan was fighting in the corridors and that, he still doesn't look like he did. He's still rusty and ill at ease with what he's doing, but it's kind of coming back to him a little bit. That's what it felt like
enough to do a really, really stupid spin move.
Yeah. There was one spin too many at one point. Yeah, somebody got a little bit ahead of themselves with that part. Yeah.
The worst part about that, and I don't know where it was. So they leaned really heavy on stormtroopers not being able to shoot in that hallway scene, because there's a moment where he's deflecting stormtroopers. Then here comes the sentry droid who only has visible light spectrum cameras. He can't detect life forms in the hallways, even though R2D2, an astromech who's designed to search for life forms if someone's EV. You would think a security droid would have those same sensors, but not in the Inquisitor's castle. They couldn't afford the infrared or other upgraded sensor pack. They couldn't afford that upgrade. But he turns his back, and the stormtroopers just aren't firing at all. They're just waiting their turn. Like, it was very, very noticeable.
It was only like one moment. Most of it I kind of liked. It was just a couple of little moments again.
It all keeps adding up,
Just
you know?
bit of editing here or there, you know,
Yeah.
is all it really needed to really fly. Yeah.
Yeah, and the Vader stuff was good. I have no issues with it. I still I can still hear some oddness in the voice, and you know I had a thought that maybe trying to computerize a voice is more difficult than trying to humanize one. And again, it's maybe it's because they're using so many lines and words from the previous movies as a callback that maybe I'm hearing those the way they're said in the movie. Maybe that's throwing me off.
I mean, there wasn't
know?
anything in what Vader said that you could really pick out the movies, but you know, apart from the same kind of language you would expect Vader to use.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, and there's also I can't even remember, but I even said it to my wife. There was a like 2 or 3 words right in a row that came from somewhere else, and I was like, it feels like they're just copying it, but I can't remember the specifics. But yeah, like I said, everything's calling back, which maybe that's why it sounds so weird in my mind. But yeah, like I said, overall, because it didn't destroy canon. I overall mostly enjoyed it. So yeah, that's all I gotta say on it. But you guys want to, Cam, you gave your positives, right? Any other things on just this episode before we talk about some quotes from the writer this week? Because there's 2. One of the big questions that people have had about this show is the message in A New Hope. What does and what doesn't Leia know? And well, the writer, what's his name again? Joby Harold says about Leia in this show and relating to episode 4. He goes, she's very much a byproduct of all those people that she's met here in this show, and we're getting to see the untold story of how Obi-Wan was part of her growing up too. That now informs. Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're my only hope. It helps explain why she would call her son Ben. Fucking called that shit a while ago. That's not part of the quote. One calls her son Ben one day. There are lovely pieces of the puzzle that are now complete that we didn't even know needed to be completed. Well, because one, they didn't need to be completed. And now, Cam, I have to ask, since there's the writer saying that, yes, she wrote that message to not just Ben Kenobi, but Obi-Wan Kenobi, and knows the two are the same. How do you feel about that? Because talk.
I mean, this really doesn't change anything for what we knew for kind of episode 1, does it? Really? This is kind of the way they're going with this. I think there wasn't... I know there was some people sort of clinging to the fact that she didn't know Obi-Wan and Ben were the same person, but I kind of, you know, I'd always said, well, it is possible, you know, they could still go down that route. But
I would say it would be dumb if she didn't. And it's infuriating that they're doing that they're even here, because he said a puzzle, you know, the puzzles that are complete that we didn't even know we needed. We didn't need it. It was already completed. She helped his dad, or he helped her dad. What puzzle?
Yeah, but there's one thing missing from your equation.
What?
A new Disney Plus show called Obi-Wan Kenobi.
No, I know.
Yeah.
I know.
You know, which is the
there's
most
no better
Disney
writing we
Plus
could have done.
You know, I'm not saying that there's no any better writing that they can done, but I actually like the fact that they've used Leia. I would have kept it so that she didn't know he was Obi-Wan personally. I think that would have worked slightly better. It was just some guy called Ben. But I think we always kind of knew. I mean, you predicted that, that's where they're going to explain why she called her son Ben. I mean, as soon as you put them in, it kind of makes sense that way, you know, especially if she finds out later that same guy, Ben, really was Obi-Wan Kenobi, because, you know, she's connected to the Force. Maybe Obi-Wan tells her, hey, by the way, hi, remember me? You know,
it's Disney making up for a past dumb choice. I won't necessarily call it mistake. It was a dumb choice. It was a really dumb choice. Yes,
her son Ben.
You'll never convince me that this was in their mind, that somebody.
No.
You'll never, because no one for 45 years since A New Hope, no one ever thought for a moment Obi-Wan Kenobi ever met Leia after he, handed them off to Bail. No one ever questioned that the message in A New Hope was specifically relating to him because of his time with her father. No one, because there was no every ounce of context, everything you need, even before the prequels, everything you needed to know is there, and this just completely fucks with it, man, for no reason.
I get where you're coming from on
that, because I know that is the default position that you would have watching it. But it is just interpretation. Do you know what I mean? It is just interpretation. And this is where I talked about it bends the canon, but it doesn't break it. It does, I don't watch it now and go, oh, she'd never have said that. It just doesn't feel quite what I would have said to somebody that had kind of rescued her when she was a kid and stuff like that. But bear in mind, she's probably never seen this guy for another 10 years after that, He's an
adult. He's not going to change that freaking
much.
I
know, but she doesn't meet him anyway when he's older. That's not the point. The point is that she's not exactly going to be like, "Hey Ben, old buddy," to somebody that she was with for a week or 2 weeks.
I don't know. Somebody saves your life. You would appeal to.
Yeah, you'd remember it. But if somebody saved your life when you were 10 for a week and then you never saw them again. Do you know what I mean? Would you remember?
I'm gonna remember someone saving my life, and this is Leia. So we're just gonna, she's not acting. She's not 5. She's gonna remember. She's 10 years old.
And I think at the end of the day, they are doing that though. They are doing that. She clearly was supposed to remember.
But it doesn't feed into a New Hope. It plays. It bends around this thing. Well, she knew the name Ben. Well, dude, that's because Ben was never going to be a freaking code name to begin with. You're bending around playing Twister for shit for no reason.
That's whatever. Whenever you did the prequels, they were bending stuff as well to make it fit because that's just life. I mean, ultimately, when Lucas wrote this, he didn't have the full prequels mapped out. Do you know what I mean? No. So the way he did map them out, so there was a couple of things the way they ended it didn't make quite sense.
For one, are stupid. Having the droids that involved with them was
well, even in the original
choice.
trilogy, you got to remember that Leia was not supposed to be. It was originally thought to be Luke's sister, and then it kind of messes up with the whole storyline when. Obi-Wan says that boy is our last hope, and Yoda says no, there is another, and then all of a sudden, oh wait a minute, now Luke and Leia are now twins, and so there was like.
Although I still argue the point that there's evidence within Empire Strikes Back that the decision had been made at that point. I don't think in A New Hope that was the case, but I think it was by the time they filmed Empire Strikes Back.
Right. Oh yeah. No, I get you on that. And so I mean. We're talking about a story that keeps on expanding over what are we at now, 30 or 40 years, and so there's we've got to take some
since
45.
Hope.
So we've got to take some of it and bend it because we're at, and so there's something
go to a different era.
Well, they are. I mean, this is kind of the.
I know.
But so to kind of
going another era as a gamble though. Remember,
I don't think,
and now they want to just take money.
Yeah, and to like kind of, I don't think like ease your mind or to say you're wrong because I don't think you're wrong. I think originally this was not all supposed to be connected, but then when you go back and watch A New Hope now, you see the message addressed to General Obi-Wan Kenobi, right? And that part I understand where that the way the message is interpreted is like she doesn't really know Obi-Wan Kenobi. It's more like, hey, you served my father.
Know of him. It sounds like she knows of him.
Right. And then it knows of him. But then when you hear Luke and the Death Star open the cell door and, hey, I'm Luke Skywalker, I'm here to rescue you. I'm here with Ben Kenobi. She jumps up and says, Ben
'Cause
Kenobi. You know,
the
I
hero
brought
of
that up in
the
episode
hero
one.
of the Clone Wars that my dad used to tell me so much about, the guy that my dad said specifically, if you get in trouble
Right,
on your
right.
way back to Alderaan, seek this guy out. So the guy, my daddy, that I love very much, is actually
but
here to rescue me.
You're taking
Woo!
that as your interpretation of it, right?
That's what you see.
But he's called Obi-Wan
Yeah, but-
Kenobi.
Oh my
He's
You can't
called
always
Obi-Wan
trust
Kenobi.
what you see in a situation
Yeah.
like this. If they do
yeah.
decide to change it, you have to accept. Like, there's plenty of things that I felt were true about Star Wars that the prequels changed. You know, the way certain things worked. Like
Who
before we
the
got to
droids
the prequels,
who the droids knew and who they
we
didn't.
thought
That was a
every
dumb
Jedi
choice,
that
Lucas.
died, you know, turned into a Force ghost because we had no context to know it was any different. You know, so that's all I'm
Yeah,
saying.
I mean,
It
the whole
kinda
concept
works
of the
like
Force
that. You could
ghost.
say everybody's supposed to die as a Force ghost, and I hate the prequels because of that. But
Yeah.
when
That no,
when
that's
it's Lucas doing it,
vastly
it's
different.
like, well, it's not vastly different. It's the same kind of thing. It's just, in fact, it's even broader than the example you're giving, which is a more succinct point, you know, to one line, basically one line.
Considering how few Jedi
trilogy
we
movie.
see die in the sequel or sequels in the original trilogy, it would have been easy to infer that only good ones could turn into Force ghosts, which is what most people did infer.
Well, yeah.
And changing that up to be a technique is nowhere near as an issue because you're not fucking with part of the story. And not only that, I will bitch and moan about stupid things that Lucas did, like I've already done a couple times here on the droids. Having those droids, especially R2, you explained it away with 3PO by having his mind erased. Nobody erased R2D2, and that little bastard
nobody can
is
understand what you're saying.
Everyone can understand. All he's got to do is say it through a screen. And Obi-Wan doesn't
But if
even
you tell
pretend.
R2D2, don't tell him
R2D2 will do whatever he wants to. We have to assume that Obi-Wan took R2 off to the side while Luke was fooling around with the speeder and said, "Listen here, you little shit. You tell Luke that you're his daddy's droid and all that. I'll end you." No, that's too much headcanon. So Lucas is just as frustrating with it. So why fuck with it? That's my biggest question. Why fuck with it?
Well, here's the reason why. It was that there needed to be a good enough reason for Kenobi to leave Tatooine, and you can't just make it. The original story and the original script of it was not good, and so that, you know, it was. From the rumors and everything, as a group of people in search for Kenobi, and they find him at the end. There's the Kenobi show, and that was like, no, that's not going to be good enough. The only other time we see Kenobi outside of the original trilogy and, you know, the prequel trilogy, Clone Wars, is in Rebels, and in Rebels he's in Tatooine, you know, watching over, you know, a young Luke Skywalker, and at this point in time he's the old Kenobi and stuff like that. So you have to have a reason. You can't have the entire Kenobi film be on Tatooine, because that wouldn't make any sense whatsoever. So you have to come up with a reason. Why would he leave Tatooine? Why? There's got to be a hell of a reason
to get the trail off Luke. Someone has come by that Jedi that was on the run. We need to get him off this rock so no one finds Luke. Problems solved.
But I think one of the things the writers said as well, though, and I agree with this, is it puts a little bit more focus on the fact that Leia was important as well.
Yes.
Because I think that is good, and I think I'm liking what I see of Leia, and I'm liking the relationship between her and Obi-Wan, and how, you know,
there's another show that could have been
them,
used to show how important she is, but you know.
Who
wants to see spy Leia? No one wants.
She was
that,
in Rebels as spy Leia.
That's what I'm saying. The other show is Andor. Put her in Andor. Make her super fucking important via Andor.
Well, then you got to do. Then you're talking about like a teenage young Leia, and then it's like, okay, are we gonna who are we gonna find to cast that looks like Carrie Fisher and stuff like that?
Don't care.
But well, Kathleen Kennedy never cares. She announced. Remember,
Kathleen Kennedy's stupid.
Well,
I'm just going to say the obvious one right here that everybody on the internet said a million times. I mean, Millie Bobby Brown just looks.
Without a doubt,
very much. I mean,
I'm
such
down.
a good actress.
But
I
remember,
don't
Kathleen
think
Kennedy
anybody
said
would mind if she played a younger Leia. You know.
Yeah, I know, but just
Kennedy's
remember,
stupid.
Kathleen Kennedy said that was she considered that the biggest mistake of Solo was recasting an iconic character.
And
I
yet
like
they're
that
still
she-
making
but she
they still
can't-
want to make the show with Glover.
Yeah,
we
so
don't
that's
know.
the thing,
Like
she
we don't know
talked
how
about
that is. It's still
She's stupid.
It's
No,
still
no, she
it's-
did. Because she said that they're basically waiting on Donald Glover. It's he doesn't have time to make it just now, so
Yeah.
they're waiting on him to have a schedule so that they can make this Lando show. So it's absolutely
But-
supposed to be him.
Yeah, but what I'm
She's
saying is that
talks
you're
after
talking about
hours.
one of the 3 iconic characters in Star Wars. That's what she was referencing to. You can't recast Luke. You can't recast. They learn don't recast Han. Don't recast Leia.
But they have recast Leia.
So
Yeah. They did recast Leia,
So
and
it's like-
most
it's like
people
where-
that like Solo
I mean,
love
I guess
that
kids are
actor.
different. Kids
For
are
what?
different. I get it.
yeah, I would say kids are different, but you're not. I mean, they did the deep fake in Rogue One, to keep
Yeah.
it so
Well,
it's, Carrie Fisher and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So you go into your point, Kyle. So you have to find a reason to get Kenobi off of the planet. And it's got to be something good, and like Cam said, it puts more, like more importance on Leia and what she's doing. That she's not just sitting around twiddling her thumbs on Alderaan. That she's actually, going through her own stress.
When
as
they're
well and
10,
stuff.
you would figure that's what she would be doing, is learning the ins and outs of the political system that she gets into to help take it
At
down
10?
from the inside. Yeah, like, dude, you're a citizen of the UK. You know the royals are groomed for their future roles from the
she says that, and she's
ages
like,
6.
she says it, and
up.
she's being
So yeah, she's going to be
interrogated by Reva,
groomed
so she's
for
like,
politics.
yeah.
I mean,
They would be grooming her for her role as the princess of
yeah, but
Alderaan
she kinda-
and
but
politics.
in the way you do with a kid, not like a teenager, and that way, less strict, more guidance and try this, try that, and that's kind of what they do at the start of Obi-Wan Kenobi. It's they give her subtle hints, but they, because she can still run away and go and play.
That's what I'm saying is, like, she's not doing nothing. That's what 10-year-old Leia would.
Yeah,
would
but this
be
also
doing.
sets up a Leia to join the rebellion. So when we see her in Rebels as a teenager, and so this kind of plants that seed. She's interacting with the people in the early stages of the rebellion and stuff.
And I gave a great way to, again, keep her, limit the interactions with Kenobi, so that way you're not just really bending over backwards to look at, help me Obi-Wan Kenobi in a new light. That Jedi, instead of hanging him on Tatooine, you have Kenobi using him to get off the rock, get contacted by Bail, and that's your third person, the one that she's mostly interacting with. Obi-Wan is out, dealing with he's the distraction while this guy goes and gets her out of the cell.
Problems as you start to get to where you want to go with that story later on. No,
it's because there's no reason for it to begin with, but there are different ways to not have them interact as much as they did. But now it doesn't matter because they're just saying the message is from her to Obi-Wan. And that's frustrating because that's not what the message was about at all.
It's still from Bail to Obi-Wan, because you go to Rogue One and Bail says, like, you have
I'm sending my daughter to pick up the plans.
But she says, we need your friend, the Jedi.
There's no one else I would trust, and that goes all the way back to the Clone Wars and the prequels and all of that. Like I said, that's Daddy's girl. He's gonna trust, and she's Daddy's girl. So
yeah, but the fact that he saved her kind of does help with that. There's nobody I would trust more, kind of thing, because really they didn't spend any time together. And
it's not a grand plan, guys. They're just fitting things in. This wasn't planned. This wasn't like something that they had before.
Because, now they're just, they're trying to find ways to kind of do it without absolutely smashing the canon to bits, but still give us a show,
Because she wanted to deliver the Death Star plans to him personally.
Again, if the show's quality,
no, she wanted to deliver them to Alderaan. He's the middle guy that, if you get in trouble between point A and point B, like what espionage has, what drops use, what people carrying sensitive information, even if it's not, spy stuff, there's multiple places and safety points. I mean, we're never gonna agree. The one thing we agree on is that things are bending. Yeah, I know. It's just it's frustrating because to me, and I got it. You said it right. That without it, you don't have a show called Obi-Wan Kenobi on Disney Plus. And Cam's right to a degree that doing something new and different can be dangerous. However, just sitting here doing the same stuff, you're running out of more and more room. And now there's all that rumored talk about a season 2, and then you're like, okay, well, how much more canon are we going to bend? What else are we going to do? Because what are we going to do for season 2?
Of a season 2 myself.
No, so I think the only way you do season 2 is that you do the trials of Kenobi training to become a Force Ghost or learning how to use the Force Ghost. So
I mean,
did it in Clone Wars.
But I think that's a couple of episodes. That's not a full series.
Yeah,
you know?
Well, it's I think 6 episodes max. 40 minutes, and what is it? There was 4 stages that Yoda went through. So episode 1 sets it up. Episode 2, 3, 4, 5 are the stages, and episode 6.
Yeah, you could have
Kenobi goes to his bed
and come to this planet. To me, you know what I mean. So he has to go. And then
I forgot the stages of it.
And I said this when Kyle and I discussed it when we had our extra cantina. I said I'm okay with it as long as there's a good story there to tell, and I wouldn't want to see Leia and Vader used again.
Lucasfilm, if you are interested in doing season 2 of Kenobi, contact us. We got some ideas, good ones too. Canon,
better.
I don't know about better, but at least we'll keep it in the realm, and the 3 of us can argue back and forth. And it might take 4 years.
We'll be the writer's room.
Yeah, we'll argue it. Debate it and see if it can.
It might take 4 years to come up with a script, but we'll get it done.
Last thing I want to bring up, and another quote from Harold, and this also connects to the Acolyte and their writing room, and they had someone in there that hadn't even seen Star Wars. They're talking about people knowing that Obi-Wan, whether or not Anakin made it off of Mustafar alive, and his survival. In an interview with The Wrap, Harold said that was not something I pitched originally. The whole Obi-Wan knowing that Anakin was together. He goes, that was something I discovered along the way, and sort of had to confirm with Pablo, Holocron Hidalgo, and really think. Hold on a second. What does he actually know? Does he know the moniker Vader? What would that mean? Can he associate the two? Was he what was he cognizant of? How isolated is he? Where's Vader at the time? This is Harold talking to the Wrap. I'll remind everyone that Obi-Wan watches a security tape of Emperor Palpatine talking to Vader and says, "You have done well, my new apprentice."
I don't think that's
now Lord Vader.
Here, I know that's the exact quote and what it's written. I think what he's trying to get into is like how much which we've already discussed, and
does he know that he's at the start. Does he know the moniker?
Does he know the moniker Vader? I think
he literally says that.
I know, but I don't. Sometimes when I watch back this show, I say things and I think, why did I say that? That's not really as articulate as I could put it, because you get in the moment, and that happens in interviews as well.
But then
what
he continued.
The rest of the quote he's saying here, though, Kyle, give us a second, is that he wanted to establish, is Kenobi 100%, knows that Vader's alive, that he's kicking about the galaxy in a suit. There's this guy called Darth Vader. Things we discussed, how, would Obi-Wan not be aware of this? They then made the decision that he wasn't going to be aware of this. And the way they decided to do that was that he shut himself off from the Force in some respect, so that they could have that reveal of him knowing that moment when he's in, this particular show. Now, That's not the way I would have looked at it if I hadn't seen this show that way before. But what I'm saying is, I don't think he's turning around and saying that he didn't know the end of Revenge of the Sith. You know, I think what you're kind of intimating there is like almost he's never watched the films before he's wrote this. I don't think that's fair.
I don't think he knows, and by going with how you're describing it makes it a little bit more infuriating, because they're admitting, he's like, if you want to look at moniker Vader not connected to episode 3 but connected to whether or not Vader's out in the galaxy, then there's that thought. We buy Obi-Wan not knowing Vader is alive via the Force, but that would go again to my point of him being the worst guard dog, worst, safe house overseer, whatever. I don't know what the proper term is for watching Luke, by not knowing what is out there. But dude,
I think
the writing is so weak.
He's so depressed at the start of it that he's just going to his job every day, doing the basics, go back, and he keeps an occasional eye and look, and he goes back to his cave alone again. You know what I mean? He's really not out there actively, doing his job very well, to be honest. If I'm being honest, I think that's the way they're playing it.
The other line in there that makes me really believe that he just really didn't realize, recall, and I don't know if he just didn't rewatch the prequels before he started writing, which you would hope he would have done, is when he says, can he associate the two? Can he associate Vader? So after the moniker line, after going into the list, can he associate the two? What was he cognizant of? So yeah, dude, he went into the beginning of writing needing help from Hidalgo on whether or not Vader, whether or not Obi-Wan knew the name Vader for Anakin. So it's just another one of those nitpick things, man. I think
if we ever get him, if you're watching this, Joby Harold, if that's not the case, I'd love to interview you about it. If you did know that actually he was aware of that or weren't aware of that at all, I'd love to know the answer, because I'm just not sure that just every time we see a quote like that, we can just say, oh, there's the proof, that's it. Boom, he did not know this.
Times.
He's never watched the prequels. This is a disgrace.
I didn't say he never. I gave him the benefit of the doubt of forgetting, but like I said, wouldn't you have, before you even started writing, rewatched them again?
I just don't see why
you have the acolyte writer never watching it before watching it their first time after getting hired.
The story came from Hossein Amin as well, the basic story of this, and then it was Joby Harold that came in afterwards and added a lot of details in it. I think anyway, Leia wasn't involved at that point. So I think he was coming in and he was pushing the boundaries, and that's why he was asking questions about the canon, seeing where he could bend it and where he couldn't. That's what I get from that.
Maybe.
And you got to realize too is that
I could be wrong.
A lot of the directors, writers, and stuff for a lot of these projects, and
I don't expect them to be super fans.
They're not.
Anything.
They're not.
Yeah, I expect them to do research.
That's the point.
That's all right. I just expected research.
But that's what they lean on, and this is where it becomes a crutch almost, and sometimes a bad crutch when you lean on Pablo or you lean on Dave. That it becomes like, okay, it's on their job to make sure that it's all 100% canon. And
but they don't get to veto things. Let's be honest.
Right, exactly. They don't. They just say like,
so
it's more like,
no, this doesn't work, and then the director cries hard enough, and they say, well, can we make this work? We'll release a techno manual in a couple of years ago. Explain it. Yeah, I mean that's basically their job.
Explain it in a comic book.
When KK or whoever's in charge tells them make it work, they go okay. They don't turn around and go, no, you can't do this, because they don't have the power to do that. The creatives will have the final say on these things. I mean, J.J. Abrams absolutely didn't, have to run things past Pablo Hidalgo or anybody else before he made change. He just did whatever the fuck he wanted.
Before he stupidly named Ben.
And the
who did
totally disregarded the sacrifice that Anakin made and the whole point of his redemption.
Totally disregarded it. Did not give
made the Skywalkers about Palpatines instead of Skywalkers.
Yep.
Yeah.
Way to go, JJ, Terrio, and team.
we've kind of went off.
Yeah, we
rails
we
here a
went
little
way
bit.
off the rails. Everyone, I hope people enjoyed the heated discussions. I must say, in my older age, compared to 3 years ago when we started doing stuff like this, I think I'm a bit more calm these days. Cam, what do you think?
Well, yeah, I think you tended to shout more uncontrollably in the past. Yeah, I think you've learned to control it. Yeah, I can just see it in your face now. That's the thing. We can read your face.
Frustration.
You're not got much of a poker face.
You can see more. You can see more of my face now. All the more reason
That's true.
for people to check out the YouTube channel. If you're not watching us, go ahead, head over to YouTube, subscribe to the GenreVerse, and check out great shows in addition to the Cantina, Marvel, Multiverse Mayhem. Nick and I will be reviewing Miss Marvel for the next few weeks, and then we've also got Animeversal reviews doing Spy Family, Breaking Geek Radio, the podcast. They do like weekly news and usually movie reviews, and Jonesy gets the occasional interview. Those will go up. Breaking Geek interviews, and then the Genre Shot trailer reactions. We got all that. One channel for you guys. It's constant content all week. Everything goes into playlists. So yeah, check us out. Hit subscribe if you are subscribed. Thank you. And all of our podcasts go up on audio format on all of your favorite podcast apps: Google, Spotify, Apple, SoundCloud, even all that good stuff. And of course, everything is available over at LRM Online, new LRMonline.com. News, opinions, reviews, written reviews, things on games and anime and TV streaming, hoity-toity movies, as we like to call them, in our Discord, which you guys can find a link in the description box down below. Come join the chat. Tell us how
what you
right
think about Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah, tell us
that's
about
important.
that. How right or wrong any of us are, who you want to vote off that. No, I'm joking about voting off the show. But
Off the ship.
guys, off the ship. Who's getting the bouncer called on them this week? Get thrown out the Cantina airlock. And then all the podcasts are available there as well. Cam, what do you want to say?
Yeah, just kind of to wrap this up, I hope episode 5 is better than episode 4. But yeah, nothing much else to say. My details are below if you need to contact me on Twitter. We are looking for people that would like to maybe write Star Wars. It's cool, but if you've got other interests as well, then and you would like to, and you're interested in doing any writing, speak to me. My details are down there. Contact me, or Shockey, whose details are down there. Contact either one of us if you'd like to get involved in the team and kind of learn how to write. That would be cool.
There you go. Shockey, anything you want to say?
Yeah, we're always looking for contributors. So if you want to voice your opinion and you think that all three of us are completely wrong about Star Wars, or you want to see us cover, or you want more covers of something else, contact us and let us know.
All right, guys. That's it. We're all done. See you guys next week. May the Force be with you.